Welcome in, welcome on, and welcome to another episode of the Direct Podcast. Everything you need to know about the universes you love. I'm your host, Matt Remke, and I'm joined as always by my friend, co-host, box office correspondent, senior editor at thedirect.com, Mr. David Thompson. David, it is Superman Day.
Look up, Matt. Look up. I'm gonna be looking up tonight. Hopefully, my seat won't be too bad where I have to break my neck to look up. But man, we made it. I made it. You're seeing the movie tomorrow. We're all seeing it
Tomorrow.
early. It's gonna be a
Yeah,
lot of fun. And it's Superman Day for me, but it's Superman week for everyone. So
that's right.
go get your tickets, go have some fun, grab some popcorn, go see Superman this weekend. I am so excited that we are finally here. I can't believe I genuinely can't believe we are finally here.
And it could not have come at a worse or better time, no matter depending on how you look at it, right? This is the Direct Podcast. This is everything you need to know about the universes you love. If you're listening to this right now, you are either on our Patreon page, on the Direct Extras YouTube page, or listening to our brand new podcast feed. Long story short, Spotify has removed the original Direct Podcast Spotify feed. We are not sure why. We've tried to get it back. It's just not happening. We are moving forward. Moving forward, we will have this brand new Direct Podcast, Universes You Love podcast feed, a reboot of sorts. We are going to reboot this entire thing. We've been doing this since 2020. So if you're new, welcome. We're happy to have you here. We are going to break down everything you need to know about the movie and TV universes you love: news, reviews, interviews, breakdowns, everything. And we're going to tighten the screws a little bit here on the Direct Podcast. We're going to clean things up, more content, more focused content, not just on your podcast feed, but also on the Direct Extras YouTube page and the Direct social media channels, specifically Instagram, MCU Direct, DCU Direct, and Star Wars Direct. So please make sure to subscribe and follow to all of those channels. We would love if you could leave a review if you like this episode or if you like future episodes. This is kind of episode 0 for us. We're going to try things out because moving forward, Mondays will be featured on news. Wednesdays, when applicable, will be for TV. And then Fridays will be movie reviews and feature segments like drafts, brackets, list, rankings, etc. We're very excited to get this going. We appreciate everybody who has found us again. Welcome back. And everybody who's new, we're so happy to have you on the team. And David, I think we just kick it off. I think we just get going on a big day of news.
Let's do it, man.
Let's get into everything you need to know about the universes you love. David, we have a litany of trailers and teasers to go over today. Last week, a lot of different stuff drops. Not everything within the specific universes we love, but movies that are adjacent we're excited to talk about. First off, in the core universe that we love, the thing that started this all, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the next entry on Disney Plus, and the next entry for Marvel Animation, Eyes of Wakanda, a 4-part miniseries diving into the history and exploits of Wakandan warriors. A teaser dropped, 30 seconds. It's releasing August 27th. David Thompson, after the teaser, what do you think of this project?
This is a teaser, man. 30 seconds, a little voiceover, just like some like flashing shots of what this animation style is going to be, which looks similar to what we've come to know with Marvel animation, at least in this era, which, I'm on the middle of, I would say overall. This looks good. I feel like this is kind of a new, interesting take when it comes to Marvel Studios on Disney Plus with animation specifically, because it looks like it's going to be canon to the timeline of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like it's going to be our main, whatever you want to call it, sacred timeline, Earth 616, Earth, what was it? 1999999. That timeline just way back in the past and the history of Wakanda. And just that alone sounds fascinating to me. Once again, coming off of Sinners, they do it in Ironheart. Ryan Coogler. They do it for this. Ryan Coogler. They cannot help themselves trying to connect anything they can to Ryan Coogler. And I love that because you know what? I would do the same thing.
I think he's earned it. I think he has shown that range that you'd love to see from a young superstar director like his. He did the franchise thing. He did another franchise thing, and he showed this year with Sinners that he can do his own thing. as well. As far as this teaser goes, very Star Wars Visions kind of look, right? A dive into a corner of the MCU that we really haven't explored all that much, being Wakanda. I think when we look back, when history makers write the books on comic book movies, Black Panther might go down as the greatest franchise that never was. Because the first movie, obviously, gangbusters, nominated for Film of the Year at the Oscars. And and then it went into Infinity War and Endgame, where Black Panther just became a household name off one movie. Obviously, the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman changed everything. And Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, a movie I really enjoy, a movie that still made a ton of money. So audiences really enjoyed it as well, or at least wanted to go see it.
Hmm.
Clearly couldn't be what they had planned for Black Panther 2 to be. So it became a completely different thing, leaning on Letitia Wright, leaning on that incredible cast that they had. And moving forward, they will continue with that. But the franchise we could have gotten, it will always be a mystery. And a part of that, I have a point, is Wakanda, man. In the first Black Panther, we don't really get a true origin story for the Black Panther or the hidden temple of Wakanda, right?
Right.
And we got a little bit of it in Civil War, and then in Black Panther we take off running. This is kind of a look back into Wakanda potentially building up the vibranium Wakandan Black Panther origin here. Could be a very cool look. I'm really excited to see what they do with it. I also had a thought. They introduced T'Challa's son at the end of Wakanda Forever. Spoilers, I guess. Incredible moment. Everybody cried, right? And there's controversy, right? Do you recast T'Challa? Do you let him go with Chadwick Boseman and in memoriam?
Yeah.
This is, I feel like, kind of their answer. He has a kid named T'Challa, and here we go. What a weirdly unique opportunity to do another Black Panther origin story, right? Could be really interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, Obviously, the big hiccup would be the astral plane scene, right? Who does he see in the astral plane? We've seen it 3 times. T'Challa saw his
Mm.
father. Eric saw his father, and Letitia Wright, Sherry saw Eric. Obviously, if it's T'Challa, we'd want him, T'Challa Jr., we'd want
Yeah.
him to see Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa, but how do you handle that?
Mm.
Maybe there's some voiceover situations going down, some deleted scenes that you can repurpose, whatever it might be. It'll be interesting how they handle it moving forward. Eyes of Wakanda, I think, is our first step into whatever this Black Panther franchise is going to end up becoming.
It definitely could be, man. And I think we'll get more answers following, the multiverse saga. But you mentioned Ryan Coogler earlier about like he did the franchise thing, 2 franchises, did his own thing. Now he's seemingly going back to franchises, going to be doing Black Panther 3 with Denzel Washington. So, that movie
My man.
that movie is coming. Like that is like the MCU movie. I feel like that's not officially announced that we know is like, okay, that's coming. More than Doctor Strange 3, more than Shang-Chi 2. We know Black Panther 3, whatever that movie's going to be, is happening, and Ryan Coogler will direct it.
Absolutely. Moving on to not a universe that we love, but a reboot that we're all very excited about. The Running Man reboot by Edgar Wright, starring Glenn Powell, hits screens November 7th. The trailer was just released. Running Man, an old Schwarzenegger film. It's a Hunger Games adjacent story. The modern version of it would be a Hunger Games type of situation, and they're
Yeah.
redoing it in a more modern way using the internet, social media to make it run with Glenn Powell, David Thompson. After this trailer, it's Edgar Wright, so the energy is going to be what it is, right? You know what you're getting. So after this trailer, Glenn Powell's reboot career continues. How are we feeling about it?
I feel good about it. I like this trailer a lot. I think Coleman Domingo looks great in it. I
Yeah,
thought that Michael Cera looked like he's gonna have a good time with like
awesome.
whatever was going on with the water guns and the electricity. And yeah, I thought Edgar Wright, honestly, like watching the trailer, I'm like, okay, like this is gonna be a lot of fun. I've enjoyed Glenn Powell's career choices, I guess. You mentioned he did the Twisters thing, the reboot. Now he's doing the Running Man. He's in that Chad Powers Hulu show later this
Yeah.
year too. Like he's just having fun. He's kind of like hitting all the marks for me. Besides just being, you know, Cyclops or whatever. Like he's just not a comic book character, but like everything else, I've like really enjoyed of him. And this just might kind of be his lane. And once again, like I think he looks great in the movie, and I feel like it's gonna be a lot of fun in theaters, especially when, to me, like right now, it just feels like there's not like we us looking at our like podcasting schedule and stuff, like there's not a ton to look forward to in like August, September, October even. I mean, I have to look back, but November 7th, I'll be there and I'm excited.
Yeah, the blockbuster popcorn genre that we cover here on the Direct Podcast does take a big fall off after Fantastic Four, but this is the type of thing we will definitely review on this. If for nothing else, Edgar Wright is like an honorary comic book director, you know,
He
after Scott
is.
Pilgrim and just how he does movies. It's very poppy and whiz bang, and I'm really excited to see Glenn Powell work in that space. I agree with you. His reboot career has been so satisfying, you know, like when you do these legacy reboots like he's done, like you mentioned, Maverick, Twisters, now Running Man. I think the best you can ask for is an actor in there that you can have fun watching. Glenn Powell's become one of the most fun actors you can watch. Hell, what's that Sydney Sweeney movie he was in?
Um,
Anyone But You?
Anyone but you. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
That's Much Ado About Nothing. That's a Shakespeare reboot. You
Yep.
know, like
Yeah,
he's
right.
got his lane and he's crushing it.
That's funny.
Um, I do take a lot of stake in Glenn Powell's career because he is the scene stealer from one of my top five favorite movies of all time, 2016's Everybody Wants Some by
Right.
Rick Linklater. So I've loved Glenn Powell since 2016, 2017. And I'm excited that he's becoming a household name because everybody, if you haven't seen it, go watch Everybody Wants Some. It's incredible. And again, top five favorite movie of all time for me. November 7th, Running Man. Another movie coming out next year that we got a trailer for, animated. Cat in the Hat is back, baby. Voiced by Bill Hader, Dr. Seuss's icon character, the Cat in the Hat. New trailer dropped. Feels a lot like that Grinch movie from a few years back with Benny
Yeah.
Cumberbatch. David Thompson, what are your thoughts on this lane of movie? And do you have any Cat in the Hat, nostalgia at all?
Yeah, I would say for the original, not the
Yeah.
the Mike Myers film. I don't know, that's not the original, obviously. I mean, mainly Cat in the Hat was the book growing up by Dr. Seuss, and then like that movie scared me when I was a little kid. So I didn't like that movie. I like it's funny. So there's that movie's parallel with Jim Carrey's Grinch.
Yeah.
And the Cat in the Hat was like the weird, like messed up cousin of that film, in my opinion. And then now we have the same parallels happening with that Grinch movie that came out 3 years ago now or something.
I want to say
And
2019, my guy.
really, I would have said
Think so.
2022, but I could be totally wrong about that. I think you're probably right.
2018.
Wow. Oh
Pre
my
Endgame.
gosh.
Pre
What?
Endgame. Saw it Christmas Day.
I thought that was a post-COVID. That actually no, I'm silly. I should have thought about that longer.
Oi, noi,
Wow.
noi. Yeah.
Cat in the Hat. The new Bill Hader voicing sounds
Legend.
interesting. Like that's the one thing that's got my attention, especially because like Bill Hader's in kind of a weird spot right now. Like I feel like he's just not. What was the show?
Barry.
Barry. I think he wrapped. They finished that show. I watched the first two seasons of that show. I need to get back to it. But anyway, like
Acclaimed.
huh?
Acclaimed. Critically
Yeah, I
acclaimed
know,
show.
I know. Really, and it was really good. So this doing voicing Cat in the Hat, pretty funny, and I enjoyed the Cat in the Hat, and I think this will be. I mean, it's a February release, which is fascinating to me, but it's gonna open up 2026 in a big way when it comes to kids going out with their
Mhm.
parents to the box office.
Yeah. I mean, and that shit matters for sure. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
That Mike Myers Cat in the Hat movie, it's one of those movies when I was a kid that was always on, just on repeat
right.
kind of movie. And
Weird movie.
I know I'm definitely I'm not in the majority here when I say this, widely prefer it to the Jim Carrey Grinch.
That's
Widely.
so funny to me, man.
It's not even close. Honestly, I don't like the Jim Carrey Grinch, but
We've talked about this.
I do like the Dr. Seuss universe, and I love that this movie looks like Into the Spider-Verse for Dr. Seuss and Cat in the Hat. Like diving into the little bits and tricks because like the Grinch is so widely known. Obviously, it's my wife's favorite Christmas movie, the original, 27 minutes, 27 American minutes long. I love it so much because she's always like, "Okay, I'll pick one," and I'm like, "Okay, you're gonna pick the Grinch. It's gonna be 27 minutes, and then I get to pick a movie as well."
An actual movie, yeah.
But I mean, it's so beloved, it's so widely known. Everybody loves the Whoville of it all. And Cat
Me
in the Hat,
included.
this movie looks like an opportunity to explore other Dr. Seuss shit, which is just fun, crazy animated stuff. It's gonna be really cool. I love Bill Hader.
Yeah.
Excited. If you've been in theaters recently, you have seen the Odyssey teaser. It's here, it's alive, it's 30 seconds, doesn't show very much, but it's Christopher Nolan. So it's one of those things where you see it and you see how good it looks, and you think, oh, this is just a taste of how good this movie is going to look aesthetically.
Yeah.
Um, David, have you seen it? And also, do you have any thoughts on it, even though we don't really get a ton?
Yeah, it's funny. So on 4th of July, me and Jasmine went out and saw Jurassic World again, Rebirth. And well, my second time, her first time. She really enjoyed it, by the way. She agreed with our review.
Good movie.
And yeah, good movie. And she had her, and it's funny because she said like the next day, she's like, yeah, she's like, that was a good movie. Like it had, well, what's the
Like,
word? It had like, aged well in her mind. Anyway, part of the reason I wanted to go out to see this movie again, I'm like, yeah, let's go see Jurassic World. Let's go do it. I wanted to see the Odyssey trailer in theaters because I'd seen it leaked online. I'm like, this isn't as good. So seeing it in theaters, man, does this look good. Like, I'm so excited to be back with Chris Nolan next July. Like, it's just, he is, I mean, now I guess Ryan Coogler will be, but like, he is like the director that just whatever he does, it's an event. And it already felt like it. Like you can already just see the stars popping out. I mean, of course, I love Tom Holland, John Bernthal, Lupita Nyong'o is in the background, like blurred out. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is just full of stars. Matt Damon, of course. I'm so excited for this movie, man. I am so excited. And it was just such a nothing little teaser, but it's so good. And I'm already like, what, we're a year and 10 days away, and I'm already pretty excited for it.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this marketing campaign goes, right? The Odyssey is obviously one of the most known stories in the history of time. It's the original story in a lot of ways. When
Yeah.
we talk about the hero's journey, more often than not, we're referring to the Odyssey. And so like it's literally like day one storytelling, and they're making this big movie, and it's Christopher Nolan. How do they, in the marketing with the trailers and the teasers, pitch the movie to anybody who doesn't know the Odyssey? You know what I mean? It's a crazy, messed up story. Greek gods, one journey followed by another journey.
Yeah.
It's two characters running the gamut here. It'll be really interesting to see how they pitch this, because right now they're doing the angle of painting Odysseus as that dude.
Yeah, it's like the
They're doing
miss.
the that dude thing.
Exactly. And I think that's smart to start. And I mean, I like how Chris Nolan gets ahead. Like they did the Oppenheimer trailer in 2022, I think in front of Dominion. They have a little routine going on here. And I remember that was even less. It was like it was like the flashes and like
And
just
that
like seeing
sound.
just yeah, and the sound, like ticking and like and just seeing like Oppenheimer with his hat, Cillian Murphy like with his hat, like putting it on and stuff. Yeah, that's a great question. I think I mean, you don't have to do anything. They don't have to mark this movie, honestly, at all for people to go out and see it. But showing the stars that are in it is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like that's the stuff where like because the cast just goes on and on and on, and like we barely get even a glimpse in this teaser. I think that's what they're gonna lean into for the next 12 months. But I don't think we're gonna see anything from this movie for like another 6 or 8 months from now, probably.
Oscar season, they
Oscar
probably
season,
back
yeah,
then. Yeah.
100%.
Um, you know what I'm really excited about with this movie? It's going to add a lot of fuel to the fire that is my Oppenheimer as a comic book movie take.
Right.
Because one, Oppenheimer is definitely a comic book movie. I will fight anybody who says otherwise. It has all the beats that every good comic book movie has. Um, and two, the Odyssey is going to be a lot of the same, man. It's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of those comic book movie beats that we love. Obviously, Christopher Nolan invented a lot of those beats in the modern day.
Right.
So it's serendipitous, not serendipitous. It's poetry. It rhymes, and yeah, man, I'm just excited. I'm excited for the use of Tom Holland in this movie, because right now they're
Yeah.
painting Odysseus as that dude, the legend, right? Tom Holland's probably going to be the audience in the movie, and
Mm.
like the obviously not the main character, but he's going to be the character we follow the most, if I had to guess, right? To go after him and go do the thing.
Yeah, I think so because I think even like some reporting's been like he's the main character, even though Matt Damon's going to be the main. It's Odysseus' story, but like Tom Holland as his son will probably be in this trailer, like you said, he is like our perspective. Like he's like like I wonder what happened to him. All that like I just want to know what happened to my dad.
Matt Damon connection here. It's ironic, but coincidental, I guess. I see this playing out as who's the main character of Saving Private Ryan.
That's a good
It's
question.
it's it's Matt Damon largely because he is Private Ryan, but
Right,
Tom Hanks is the main
but he's
character
not.
that gets us there, right?
Ah, that's
So
a great
so I
call.
see it being utilized like that one way or the other. I think it might be flipped here, but that's kind of the usage I see comparing those two movies a little bit. Um,
Fascinating.
yeah, it's going to be interesting. One little piece of news outside of teasers before we get into our box office update. It has been confirmed through comics or some promotional comic or whatever. Paul Walter Hauser, a fan favorite here at the Direct Podcast, has been confirmed as Mole Man in the Fantastic Four. I'll start here. Paul Walter Hauser, he's great. He's great in pretty much everything that he does. One of the biggest ranges of actors right now. Coming up in Hollywood. Also, all-time interview. If you have a chance to watch a PWH interview, do it because he's really interesting to listen, talk to about movies and how he navigates being a movie fan in the movie industry. But him being confirmed as Mole Man in the Fantastic Four, it was pretty much locked in when we
We
found out he wasn't Herbie.
exactly. Yeah.
Once Herbie was off the table, we kind of knew Mole Man was his path here. The perfect intro villain for the Fantastic Four. We need to establish who these people are, power sets, place in the world, what their role is as the superheroes of this universe. Mole Man is the perfect first job for them, very a la Rhino and TASM 2.
Right. Yeah, that's a great connection. I when I saw this news, I was like, like it's a shame it had to come out and it was like a little like prequel tie-in comic. They do all those for these big movies these days. But
These days.
I think it's true. They didn't used to. I don't remember all these tie-in comics when I was a kid that when I actually would have wanted to buy them. Um
You so would have. You so would have bought
Absolutely. Oh my
them.
gosh. If there was at the time, if there was like a TASM like tie-in comic before that movie came out, that would have been my entire personality. Um, but yeah, I'm glad he's Mole Man. I think it'll be cool, and I imagine, like you said, it's gonna be introductory. First scene of the movie is when we're gonna get Mole Man. Is my guess, and I do like how they've kept him out of the marketing so far. Besides this thing getting out from the little kids book, he has not been in the marketing, and I think that kind of goes to show there are going to be some surprises in general for the Fantastic Four later this month.
Yeah, it's going to be hell of a ride. I have gone on full mute. Again, anybody who's new to the Direct Podcast, our protocol, once we get like that, you can kind of feel it in a big movie marketing campaign where you've seen the trailer that's like, okay, I'm done watching things because there's going to be clips, there's going to be more trailers, they're going to keep showing more and more of this movie to get people to go. And as interviews come out, I'm on full blackout with Fantastic Four already, 3 weeks away. So I'm excited to see
Wow,
where we go from here. It's gonna be a good time, man. I'm really pumped. We're here.
cannot
July.
wait.
July. Ladies and gentlemen, that is everything you need to know about the universes you love. Let's dive into our box office report with What's in the Box. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into What's in the Box. This is going to be our mostly weekly box office update. We're not going to do it if there's not any big box office news, but when there is, we will be here breaking down the box office with our box office correspondent, Mr. David Thompson. How this goes. First, we'll go over some news in the box office, some highlights from the previous few weeks. And then we focus in on our movie this week. It is Superman. We will break down some stats historically for Superman and different movies of that ilk. And then we will go into our projections. We will name our projection. David will explain why it will go over, why it will go under. He will pick his prediction for Superman's opening weekend box office domestic. And then I will choose my over under if I think David is over or under his run. And that's how we're going to break it down. David, you ready to get into some box office news?
Let's do it, man. This is the month to do it.
Absolutely. First and foremost, Jurassic World Rebirth. going into its second week here after a very long opening weekend with the holiday. And boy, people beloved dinosaurs, bro. The critic score doesn't matter. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't matter. Jurassic World Rebirth is a hit. 91 million opening weekend, 147 domestic total right now, 318 million globally on this very day. Only going to get higher from there. David Thompson, Jurassic World Rebirth, success.
Every Jurassic World movie has been a $1 billion hit, and Rebirth. It's funny. It's Rebirth's not going to be any different. It doesn't seem that way. It may come up a little bit less than a billion. That does not matter. This is going to be a smash success. We're going to get a green light for another Jurassic movie, probably coming out in the next 2 to 3 years, is my guess. And we should never doubt it, man. Like it's a reminder to myself, and I didn't. I tried not
You knew.
to. I know even in my article I post every year on the Direct of like in December I do like a top 10 of upcoming movies, and I had Jurassic World maybe even I had it really high because it's like you cannot bet against Jurassic Park and Jurassic World at this point. And as much as I was like rooting against the movie and against the movie coming out, at the end of the day, I enjoyed it and it's making a shit ton of money. So here we are, happy to be here, and I hope the good times just keep rolling.
It's a David Thompson movie if I've ever heard of it, you know?
Yeah.
They're going to greenlight a sequel. I think the biggest challenge into the sequel will be it's not going to be about money. It's going to make the money it's going to make. Can we do a story in the Jurassic World universe that isn't big corporation wants to exploit dinosaur?
Yeah.
You know, can you bring a different angle into Jurassic Park? I don't know what it is, but that's the thing I think they got to figure out. This one they recently did, probably my second favorite version of it. And, you know, that's great, but also it's the eighth time we've seen it, you know,
Yeah.
so it's going to be interesting to see how they play it out. We move on. 2025 with Jurassic Park's big opening has been a record-setting year for the box office. A few highlights. The biggest animated movie ever is Ne Zha 2, a Chinese release. We don't cover that here on the Direct Podcast, but
That's a Kleinfeld thing.
tis a thing. Tis a thing that definitely happened, made a shit ton of money. The biggest Memorial Day weekend ever for the total box office, headlined by Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible. Little Sinners thrown in there, if I had to imagine. And then this last weekend, biggest 4th of July opening ever for a movie with Jurassic World Rebirth. David Thompson, the box office, we're hitting records. We're hitting these milestones. The health of the box office of 2025, does it reflect these accolades?
Yeah, I mean it does and it doesn't. It's funny. Like you mentioned, there's always gonna be, I think, year after year, these big hitting like the blockbusters that are like, wow, like you just said, these record setting moments. But it's funny. I mean, Sinners is the reason to believe in box office this year because it's an original R-rated movie that's made a gajillion dollars. But I think wins like The Materialists that just came out are also like really important because small movie, the follow up of Past Lives, not connected, but the director that did that, very small film, but it was a star driven movie with Pedro Pascal and Chris Evans and Dakota Johnson, and it became a really, I mean, for its scale, a really big success, and like I think it's actually. I love to focus on these big franchises and like you said, these big wins. It's like, yes, keep the good times rolling because we need both. We need them. We need these things to like really raise our ceiling, but we also need the materialists of the world to raise our floor. So I'll be curious to see like when we come into I'm hoping for some more records being set the next few weekends, right? But once it's August and September and October, I'm curious what it's gonna be. Maybe Freakier Friday will be that. But I'm curious what it's gonna be. That's gonna like kind of like send off the life preserver for the box office because that's kind of where we are in the modern day of like it just ebbs and flows like crazy, and people more than ever just reject films. Like for instance, Megan 2 recently rejected by audiences. Just no one cared, even though it was a sequel to a successful original movie. Boom. And it's crazy. Like times have never changed faster with what people are interested in, who people are interested in. But right now, that's Pedro Pascal, which gives us a really good sign for the Fantastic Four.
Absolutely. And also F1, another original movie that
Yeah,
just made
F1.
a shit ton of money. So with
Yes.
two original movies be big box office successes here, it'll be interesting, something we can do in a later week. I want to look at how many times has multiple original movies been in the top 10 at the box office at the end of the year?
Oh
Or maybe
man.
top five. I don't know what the number is. And obviously, we're only going to do the last 25 years or so since
Yeah.
IP things started happening.
Right.
But that'll be interesting. That could be an interesting research thing that we do sometime soon because F1 and Sinners, I mean, gangbusters, man. Gangbusters. I saw F1 by the way.
Oh,
They
you
didn't
liked
they
it?
didn't show the Odyssey teaser ahead of time.
They're only showing it ahead of Jurassic World.
Whatever, dude. I wanted to see it.
It literally plays after it's like the movie's starting and then they do the Odyssey trailer for Jurassic
I'm
World.
pissed. I'm pissed.
Universal, you know.
F1, fantastic. So much fun. What a blast.
Good
What a
stuff.
fun, what a great sports movie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Damson
just
Idris, man, that guy. Love him.
he's fantastic. He's fantastic. Um Kaczynski, however you say his last name.
Krasinski.
Kaczynski. He will be a director that I will see everything he does
Yeah.
moving forward. Because obviously Top Gun Maverick, and then now this movie theater ass movies, man.
Apparently
Good
he's
time.
like he's like deliberating for like 5 different projects right now for what he's gonna do
Yeah.
next.
Yeah,
That'd be
it's
interesting.
awesome. Big screen stuff. And one last note before we get into Superman: Scarlett Johansson has officially become the highest-grossing actor of all time after Jurassic World: Rebirth. ScarJo, obviously, illustrious career, so many different types of movies. Has been doing this since she was like 15, Home
Yeah.
Alone 3, however old she was with Home Alone 3. And she's been a legit A-list movie star since she was like 21 years old. So it's not surprising to see ScarJo at the top of this list. Also, she is collecting franchises at this point. She's obviously involved with as many MCU movies as anybody else, so that's going to boost up your stats. Jurassic World gives you a little bump. She's got the Lion King thing. No, so she gets that credit as well. The thing I wanted to bring up to you about this list when they released it just recently. Top 10 highest grossing actors of all time. 9 of the 10 have an MCU connection, meaning they probably have Infinity War or Endgame
Yeah.
or a Spider-Man movie to boost
Yeah.
their stats, which not taking away, it still matters. But, if you have Endgame on your list, you're probably going to be in the top 10, top 20.
I literally think that 9 of the 10 have Infinity War and Endgame on their list, technically.
Right. And that's going to do a lot for your
Which
numbers.
is saying something.
Now, David, I'm sure you do, but I want to ask, do you know the actor in the top 10 that is not on the MCU roster?
Yeah, it's the man who defies gravity himself, Tom Cruise.
Tom freaking Cruise, the president of movies. What a fun accolade he gets, huh?
It's
What a fun award that is for him.
he talks the talk and he also walks the walk.
Awesome.
It's really cool when you see him on that list because like he doesn't have any of those franchises that he like just connects to, like
Oh,
ScarJo.
Mission
Um,
Impossible.
that's his franchise, man.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
if it was just 7, 8 Iron Man movies, we'd see it a lot differently with Robert Downey Jr. Like, I mean, even like Vin Diesel on that list is like hilarious because it's fantastic, or it's Fast and Furious, but it also just all these Groot movies. And really, if you notice, if you saw that list, um, it says like you can do like a ratio of like how many movies they've been in to like the money they've made. Chris Pratt is just like, yeah, but it's just
Hey,
crazy because I mean,
box office gold.
he's doing the invert, like him and ScarJo are doing like the inverse of each other. He started MCU, well, I guess he did both at the same time. Then ScarJo MCU, now into Jurassic. And yeah, those are great franchises to connect to. I'm curious what in the future, like 20 years from now, or even 10 years from now, what that list looks like. Like what. So Aldana not being number one is honestly crazy.
It's
If you
wild.
think about it, but she hasn't been. It's like she per big movie, it just makes so much unbelievable amounts of money. But she just hasn't been in quite as many of those big hitters and different franchises.
She gets a Pirates of the Caribbean credit too.
That's
Huh.
crazy.
Huh. Very fun stuff. Love ScarJo at top of that list.
Yeah, me too. I'm happy
And
for her. Like that's cool, I think
and
that's fitting.
MCU list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's dive into our Superman preview breaking down the box office projections for James Gunn's Superman, the first movie of the DCU. David, I got some numbers here for you. Okay.
Let's do it.
Theatrically released Superman movie openings. I'm only counting the first Superman Richard Donner movie because the sequels didn't have these numbers available.
Interesting.
Superman the movie opened to 7.5 million in 1978. Very good. Adjusted for inflation, 36 million on 406 screens.
Yep.
Pretty great.
On 406 screens is crazy.
Crazy. Superman Returns, 52.5 million. Man of Steel, 116.6 million. Batman vs. Superman, $166 million for that banger of a movie. Average opening weekend for Superman movies adjusted for the Superman 1978, 92 million. Keep that number in mind.
Okay.
James Gunn, my favorite comic book movie director, incredibly successful comic book movie director. Here are his opening weekend numbers domestic: 94 million for Guardians 1, 146 million for Guardians 2, 118 million for Guardians 3 just 2 years ago. The average for the Guardians movies, 119 million opening weekend. The Suicide Squad, 26 million, but it was a day and date with HBO Max, so tough number to account for here. 119 million average for James Gunn in the comic book movie space. One more. In the last calendar year, from 2024 to now, here are your comic book movie opening weekend numbers. Madam Web, because if superhero fatigue counts, we got to count it here too. Madam Web, 15 million. Yikes. Kraven the Hunter, 11 million. Yikes again. Joker, Folie à Deux, 37 million. Deadpool and Wolverine, $211 million. I love it.
So funny.
Captain America Brave New World, 88 million. Thunderbolts, 74 million, the biggest crime on this list. The average opening weekend numbers for comic book movies since 2024, 73 million. Your projections for Superman, anywhere between 90 and 130 million. That is a large window. Nobody knows what's going to happen with this movie. David Thompson, 90 to 130 million. It's a weird question I got to ask you here with a $40 million gap, but why will this movie go over?
Well, it's going to go over because one simple answer, that the movie's good. I think every analyst, industry insider, entertainment reporter, really, wherever you read, it'll say that this movie, Superman, James Gunn's 2025 version, is one of the most review-dependent comic book movies ever. Meaning, the range we are recording on Monday, July 7th. No embargo has lifted. There are no social media reactions. There are no reviews yet. In the coming days, they will be out. By Wednesday specifically, you'll have a much better idea than what we're talking about right now. However, where we are sitting right now, if this movie does well, so let's do the hypothetical. Flash forward, it's Wednesday and the movie has great reviews. That's why it goes over. Now, all of a sudden, the ceiling is gone from the movie. Like, there's no... Superman is such a well-known IP, but the issue is, and what you just went over when it came to Returns and Man of Steel and BVS, there's an uncertainty when it comes to theatrical experience, when it comes to this universally, worldwide known comic book character. So the reason it goes over is if people like it, if it is buzzing, if it is, I mean, that's a thing. Like, we just saw it with Jurassic World. It's like the opposite of Jurassic World. Jurassic World doesn't have to be good at all. We liked it for people to go see it. People are seeing bad reviews on Jurassic World and still saying, I'm going to go see this movie.
Jurassic World is the kind of IP in the box office in 2025 where, and just to kind of contextualize what you just said a little bit, Superman has to be reviewed well. It has to be reviewed as a good movie to hit the top end of this projection, if not higher. Jurassic World needed to not suck. Jurassic World needed to not be a completely awful movie to reach its potential box office wise. That's kind of the difference that we're seeing here. And so yeah, I agree with you. And it's obviously it's easy to say if people say it's good, it's going to make a lot of money. But this movie specifically, it needs to be reviewed as a really good comic book movie.
Here's the thing, though, just to lay it out. Like, this movie has pumped in. This movie got James Gunn to direct it. That's a huge deal. He's not running the entire studio, for God's sakes. They pumped so much money into the marketing. The marketing has been an avalanche of everything imaginable that you could pump into in a marketing campaign in the 2025 day for a major, the biggest movie that you have. This is the marketing campaign you do. And all of that, right? You have no nostalgia play with this movie at all. Like, very loosely to Christopher Reeve's Superman, if you like that movie, right? There is no zero nostalgia play with this movie. It is for comic book nerds and general audiences. To get general audiences to go to this movie, it's going to have to get those positive reviews. James Gunn totally helps, but the reviews are going to have to come in hot. And it's just, there's no establishment. By the way, last thing, and this is go into why I'd go under. This is the establishment. There is no establishment. This is actually like going against what was previously established, right? Like, it's not only like Iron Man in '08, it's Iron Man in '08 after a failed previous MCU, right? Like, we've never seen this before. So can I just go into under now?
Yeah. Why will this hit the low end of the projections?
Bad reviews, obviously. Like that, if it's like a stinker, if I walk out being like that was a bad movie, if it's in the 50s, 60s Rotten Tomatoes, audience scores bad, cinema scores bad, it's just, I think it's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be rejected. It's gonna be like, well, they didn't do it again. This is what boils down to. So many people think that Superman's a boring character because of how he's been portrayed in different instances on movies, TV. Just the character. They think they don't read comics and they just think he's a boring character. Or you do read comics and you think he's a boring character, right? Opinion's your own. If that is what this movie gives and what people's reaction to it is, where the assumption or the summary after this movie's reviews come out is Superman's impossible to do in theaters. Superman's impossible. Can't I mean, they did in 78, but even then can't do it in 06, can't do it in 13, can't do it in 25, and we are done with Superman. That is like, I mean, that's our worst case scenario. But that's why it goes under, and that is a narrative out there, man. Like, that is, if someone doesn't like the movie and you're just a critic, that could be the first sentence of someone's review being like, Superman is impossible to get right in theaters on the big screen. And man, do I hope that isn't what happens.
Yeah, no, it's definitely scary. I think it was Heavy Spoilers tweeted the other day. These next 3 weeks are the most important 3 weeks in comic book movie history. And it's true because these are two projects that are foundational to their respective comic book universes that they just haven't been able to get right in theaters. Yeah. So it's going to really determine, and it's on two sides of it, right? If Superman doesn't work, the entire DCU is on high alert moving forward.
Oh,
if
absolutely.
Fantastic Four doesn't work, Avengers Doomsday becomes a lot more questionable. And landing this multiverse thing, high alert. We're back.
Yeah.
The closest comparison that I was able to find was Batman vs Superman and Captain America Civil War 6 weeks apart. Those are two. Now, Civil War, obviously, what a layup. An absolute layup. Coming off Avengers Age of Ultron, expectations were even tampered a little bit.
Right.
All I had to do was crush. But BVS, obviously, is the movie that changed everything. That was the crux of the DCEU. It had to either be great or awful. And your reaction to that movie is either you love it with everything you have or you hate it. There's no in between it, Batman versus Superman. There's just not. It's a polarizing movie. It's trying to be sometimes, right? But these next 3 weeks between Superman and Fantastic Four, it's as important as it gets for our favorite genre of movie.
It seriously, if they both underperform, it's like, man, it to me, it's like good thing Avengers is a year and a half away. Like that would
let the dust settle.
You just read off the Deadpool and Wolverine number. That was because we were in a drought, man. We were in a drought
Mhm.
and a huge nostalgia play, and people love Deadpool. And we've learned that the R-rated thing, it works. It just works.
Yeah. Spider-Man plays, Batman plays, X-Men plays, Avengers has played so far. We'll see. But the comic book bubble, some say it's already burst. I say it's deflating, not burst.
Yeah.
But
The,
this
the
this this could be a pin in the side.
the Thunderbolts thing to me, that showed a sign of deflation where I'm like, damn, man, that was the opposite of Superman in a way where it's like that was a good movie, but it didn't have the IP drive at all. It didn't have the like oh, I really care about what happens in a Thunderbolts movie, right? Like no one heard of Thunderbolts.
You should, by the way, if you're listening to this and haven't seen Thunderbolts, please watch it. It's incredible. David Thompson.
Very good
The
movie.
range is 90 to 130 million. Obviously, we don't know what the initial reviews are going to be. It's going to change the numbers quite a bit. Based on the trailers, based on what you've seen from this movie, use that to extrapolate how good you think the movie is going to be, and the reviews reflecting that. What is your pick for the opening weekend domestic box office numbers for James Gunn's Superman?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Guys, there is a scenario out there where I'm going to be on the BO Boys podcast on Wednesday night, and I'll have seen the movie. There'll be reviews out. I might change my prediction on that show then. There's a way this movie is like 150 plus. There's a way this movie's $80 million. Right now, I'm going to go $120 million. I feel good about that. It's just above Guardians 3, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians was 118. I have so much that my backbone, my like saving grace and all this is James Gunn at the end of the day. It's like I have so much faith in him, and I feel like he's gonna put out a movie that at the very least people will be interested in seeing. And I mentioned all the reviews and stuff. I do feel like there's a lot of energy around this movie right now. And maybe it's just because I'm in this bubble, but I genuinely feel like because of like we just said, the marketing campaign, I think a lot of people know about this movie that aren't just comic book movie fans. I think a lot of people are interested, and I think the simplistic title of just Superman really helps as well.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. The way I look at it, and for people who are new here, you'll learn David is definitely more the box office business side analytical movie fan. I'm definitely more of the narrative, storytelling, character driven movie fan. But the way I look at this, just looking at these numbers I put together, if it's under 90 million, it's going to be considered, I think, failure seems like a hard word, but I don't know.
Under 90 is
Bummer.
anything
Bummer.
under 100, I think is a letdown.
Letdown's the word I'm looking for. Anything under 100 is a letdown. I think if it beats out Man of Steel, we can call it a win.
Yeah.
Batman versus Superman at 166. If we could
Right.
reach that, given the
Oh,
wave that Batman versus Superman was able to ride, remember Aquaman made $1 billion? If we can reach that, this is going to be a smash success.
yeah.
And obviously that's high wishful
It's the
thinking,
world I
but
want to live in, Matt. Please.
that's the number. That's the number that if it gets there, take the gloves off. I hate saying it, but we're back.
Yeah. Well, DC's back, right? Like,
DC's
that
back, right?
in the realest of ways, DC would be back.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna go over just because
I
James Gunn,
hope
like
so.
I said, is my favorite comic book movie director, and I am not going to sit here and bet against him. That'd be silly of me to do. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been What's in the Box, and that has been episode 0 of the rebooted direct podcast. Everything you need to know about the universes you love. Thank you guys so much again. If you found us, if you're back listening, thank you. We love you. We're happy that you're here. And if you're new, hang around. We have a lot of fun here. It's a good time. We've been doing this for 5 years. We're excited to keep doing it for you. Check out thedirect.com for all the latest movie and TV news from the universes you love. For David Thompson, I'm Matt Rimke. Until then, we'll see you next time.